Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. On this build, on this little camper van conversion, codename Project 999. So, just a quick recap. Hopefully you watched the previous video and get my words out. Floors down, insulations underneath the floor. The next thing I always do is start on the electrics, 12 volt electrics, right? I always keep it nice and simple. You don't have to overcomplicate it, right? Just from the start, I am not an electrician. This is not words of advice. This is how I do it. You choose to do how you do it. You do your research. But this is how I work, and this is how it's served me well, and I've had no problems. The occasional blown fuse, but we'll talk about that when we're going. So we're going to go in the van, and I'm going to show you how I do my electrics. 12 volt first, and then we do the 230. Today, we're going to talk about what I use, why I use it, the layout of the inside of the van, so I will know where stuff goes and what I use. I try to keep it nice and simple. You don't have to spend thousands on power banks and half a dozen solar panels on the roof and 45 fancy batteries. If you're on a budget, you really can do this on a budget and just be off grid like everybody else. You don't need coffee makers and hot plates and microwaves and trouser presses and all that shite. You don't need all that. If you want to do all that, you do that. But this is how I do it, and this always works well for me. And I've done 5 or 6 camper vans now, and it's served me well. So this is the process I've gone. And I've changed a few things along the way, and I'm going to change it in this such, because what I try to do is to make it better and easier as I'm going along. So we're going back to the van. I'll talk about what my layout. This is a plan view of my electrics. Yeah, so direction of the van. This is a plan view looking down from the top. This gives me a bit of an overview where I need to put stuff. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, sofa bed, level cupboard, 1240 hook up. This has gone all in light on the other side. That's where I put my leisure battery. These pink circles with crossing are ceiling lights, toilet light, rear step light. That's where my diesel is going to go. That's kind of my kitchen unit. What's in my kitchen unit? It's going to have a cupboard light underneath, an over sink light, charge ports, 240, USB, heater display, awning light, and I just keep that nice and simple. And then I go across and make a list. Now my fuse box has got 12 ports, so I just number them all, and I'll start from the top and work my way down. So that's all the electricals I need on the 12 volt side. Self-explanatory, and I start from the top. This area of the van here, if you can see it, that lends itself well. I'll stand back so you can get a better picture for where I'm going to put my fuse board, safety switch, and the 240 consumer unit. Oh, I hope you can kind of keep up with that. I'm trying to display. So anyway, these are the products I use. This is just a bit of an overview. I don't know if you can see that there. Yeah, so I've got my 12 volt board there. Fuses various. 12 volt on off switch, safety switch. Solar charge controller, which links the solar panel on the roof to the battery. Various components. 240 USB, 12 volt, level indicator. 240 on the other side of the van. Another USB. These are just button. Various switches, on-offs, cables various sizes. There's my 240 setup. 240 in, consumer unit. All this is a garage consumer unit with 2 ports. Strip lights, ceiling lights. They're just 12 volt LEDs. Leisure battery. I've never used these before, but they're getting good reviews, so I'm going to give it a try. And what I always carry around with me is what I call my electrical box. Different components. I just roll them over from the bills, and that's basically what I kind of use. That's how I set up. So I'm going to start doing some what I call first fix, and I'll show you what I've done and how I do it. Right guys, bit of an update. I've got some first fix in, so I'll just show you what I do. So there's me plan there, yeah? And all I do, and you can see there, it looks a bit of a mess. Well, it's not a mess, it's an organised mess. I run cables as per plan. So, for example, number 1, ceiling lights. So that's how my 12 volt box is going to be, so everything goes from here, yeah? So, ceiling lights, it's a junction box here, 3 lights in the roof, that's the power in, cable in here, it's one of those amongst this, and that's how I work it. That red and black cable there is the solar panels are going to go on the roof, and it comes down into there, feed it through behind here. This at the bottom here, obviously the you can see is for the shadow. Battery's going to live in this corner, yeah, first fix. This is the power from the battery up to this point here. Going to get current bar, current half, solar control on there, and then it picks up back to there. So that's what I do really. I just have all these hanging, you know, just stick your pads, zip these, but I don't fasten them up just in case I need to pull it this way or just need to pull it that way. I kind of, once I've got all my first fix cables in, I put my 12 volt box on there, wire it all in, and then I pull all the excess of the way. I don't stretch them, looks a bit of a mess, but that's what I do there. Now to help me, let's say for example, number 5, toilet light. I know the toilet light's going to be here, so what I do, I get a Sharpie, and I just, if you can see it there, I just put 5 lines on there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that tells me when I get the other end of the box here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's the cable for the power supply for the toilet light. Because obviously a lot of them I use, I just get 1 roll of cable. Now lights, all LED lights use next to no electricity, so I just use 0.75 gauge wire. My battery cables, I use 10 mil, yeah? That's more than enough for what I want to do. So for example, my next one we're going to do is power supply for the awning. Awning lights, so there's one there, look. 6 little pen lines, or Sharpie lines. Come over here, there, number 6. My switches are going to go from here. So I'll start here, I'll coil it up like this one here. I'll run it through this makeshift harness, up over the ceiling, down in the fuse box, and I'll put 6 lines on the cable at that end, and that'll tell me that it's the awning. And that's where we are really. So I'm going to crack and do a bit more, and I hope it kind of makes sense, and I'll bring you in further down the line. First faulty on the electrics, 12 volt electrics, a little bit of 240. First fix, most of it in. Let me show you what I've done today. I've ran out of daylight now, so I'm going to call it a day. I haven't got as far as I like to, but I'll show you what we've done. I run all my cables up and over the roof. Yeah, I don't do any under the floor for obvious reasons. So just to recap, there's my plan, Project 999. Most of it's in my head, but I like to drop into that. So that's my general overview, plan view. Here is the list of all my 12 volt electrics. Over on the other side, where it says, you can see 12 volt on there, that is where I'm going to house my 12 volt fuse box, 240 fuse box. The solar control panel is going to lend itself nicely inside of there. So I'll put a Patras over there. I'm hoping to feed all my cables through. So all you see is a control units. So that's my first fix. You know, there's a lot of wires going, but obviously these have all got to be pulled tight. These have all got to be trimmed up, and my ceiling goes in, it'll hide all of that. How I identify them? With a Sharpie. If you can see on there, probably not. 240 USBs, number 12 diesel heater, more USBs, and the rest I just put a mark on them. For example, You can see there 3, across the other side, and that tells me there over sink light. And that's it. I enjoy doing the electrics. I try and follow the same format. I'm a strong believer in keeping it nice and tidy. I mean, it's organised chaos at the moment, there's a lot of slack in it, but it will come. So there's my cables running inside. Again, these will all be fastened nice and fastened to the back. I coil them all up. Again, all number at either end, 240. That'll be on there somewhere wherever it is, number 10. And what I do is I coil them all up and I just put them inside of there whilst I'm doing all stuff. So as you'll appreciate, this is the kitchen side. Again, all my cables, I'll just put it in there whilst I'm doing other stuff. All tied up, they're not going to go anywhere. I need to run that down inside this B pillar here, but I need to drill a hole. So anyway, so that's where we are, the end of day 1 on the electrics first fix on project 999. Next one will be continuation of the electrics. So we'll see what that throws up. Be good, be great, and I'll see you on the next little build vid. Thank you.